As the emergency medical team arrived and rushed him to the hospital, Barnabas was barely conscious. Blood seeped through his clothes, staining the otherwise dull white sheets of the ambulance. The pain was excruciating, and it felt like every movement only made it worse. Barnabas could hear the frantic voices of the paramedics, but everything seemed distant. He was drifting in and out of consciousness, not entirely aware of his surroundings. The road to the hospital seemed longer than usual, with each minute stretching into an eternity. Upon arrival, Barnabas was immediately wheeled into the trauma bay. His vital signs were unstable, and doctors hurriedly set to work. A team of surgeons, led by Dr. Uluma, began to assess his condition. Uluma was the only female surgeon in the operating room, but her reputation as a top-tier surgeon had already earned her the respect of her colleagues. Her steady hands and sharp mind made her an invaluable asset to the team. Barnabas' injuries were severe, particularly in his upper body, where the impact from the car had caused multiple fractures and internal injuries. Uluma instructed her team to prepare for surgery, her voice calm and collected despite the chaos around her. Her focus was unwavering, even as the situation grew more tense. She couldn't afford any mistakes. Barnabas' life depended on it. The surgery was grueling. The team worked for hours, repairing damaged tissue, setting bones, and stabilizing his vital organs. Uluma led the team with precision, her experience shining through. Yet, in the quiet moments of the surgery, she found herself thinking about the man they were saving. Barnabas was a stranger to her, but she couldn't help but be drawn to his strength, his resilience. There was something captivating about him, even in his unconscious state. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the surgery was complete. Barnabas was stabilized and moved to the recovery room. Uluma, though exhausted, felt a strange sense of pride in the work she had done. She couldn't deny the pull she felt towards Barnabas, but it was more than just the duty of a surgeon. It was something deeper, something that stirred within her every time she thought about him. As the days passed, Uluma made regular visits to check on Barnabas' recovery. His condition gradually improved, and he began to regain consciousness. It was during one of these visits that their paths first crossed in a more personal way. Barnabas, still groggy and disoriented, opened his eyes to see a woman standing by his bed, looking down at him with a gentle expression. Her dark eyes held a softness he hadn't expected from a surgeon. "Welcome back, Barnabas," she said, her voice warm and soothing. "You've been through a lot, but you're going to be okay." Barnabas blinked a few times, his vision blurry, but he could make out the figure of the doctor before him. Her presence was comforting, and for a moment, he forgot about the pain. He found himself looking at her intently, something about her calm demeanor putting him at ease. I don't remember much," Barnabas muttered, his voice hoarse. "What happened? How bad is it? You've suffered some serious injuries," but we've taken care of you," Yuluma replied with a reassuring smile. "You're lucky to be alive, and your recovery is going well. Just take it one day at a time." Barnabas nodded slowly, still trying to process everything. "Thank you for saving me." Yuluma's smile deepened, and she gently placed a hand on his arm. "It's my job, Barnabas. But I'm glad you're here, alive and recovering." As the days turned into weeks, Yuluma continued to care for Barnabas. Their interactions became more frequent, and a bond began to form between them. Yuluma found herself looking forward to each visit, her heart fluttering every time she saw him. She knew it was unprofessional, but she couldn't deny the feelings that had started to blossom inside her. One afternoon, after a particularly long day of rounds, Yuluma found herself standing by Barnabas' bed once again. He was sitting up now, his body still bruised but healing. Their conversations had become more relaxed, their smiles more frequent. There was a comfort between them that felt undeniable. "Yuluma," Barnabas said, his voice quieter than usual. "I've been meaning to ask you something. How do you do it? Stay so calm, so focused in the face of everything." Yuluma's heart skipped a beat, and she hesitated for a moment before answering. "It's not easy," she admitted. "But I believe in the work I do. And I believe in people like you, Barnabas. Your strength, it inspires me." Barnabas looked at her, his eyes softer now. "I'm not sure I'm strong enough, but I'll try." Yuluma's smile softened, and for a brief moment, their eyes locked in a way that felt more intimate than before. It was a connection that neither of them could explain, but it was undeniable. As Barnabas continued to recover, Yuluma found herself drawn to him in ways that went beyond professional care. She admired his resilience, his quiet determination to heal. And he, in turn, began to rely on her not just for medical care but for emotional support as well. They started talking more, their conversations stretching late into the evenings. Yuluma found herself laughing at his jokes, her heart lightening in a way it hadn't in years. One evening, as the sun began to set and the hospital was quieter than usual, Barnabas took a deep breath and turned to Yuluma. "Yuluma, I want to thank you for everything." She looked at him, her eyes searching his face. "You don't need to thank me, Barnabas. I did my job." "No, it's more than that," Barnabas said, his voice low. "I'm alive because of you. And I think I'm falling for you." Yuluma's heart raced, her breath catching in her throat. She hadn't expected him to say that. But the way he looked at her, with such sincerity, made her heart swell. She placed a hand gently on his, her smile soft and knowing. "I think I'm falling for you too," she whispered. In that moment, a new chapter began for Barnabas and Yuluma, one filled with healing, love, and the promise of something more. Their connection, forged in the sterile halls of a hospital, was anything but ordinary. And as they stood there, hands intertwined, They both knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it together.